So, would you still listen to your favorite artists if they only put out positive music? Because I've been hearing a lot of talk for years about vibrations and frequencies in the music, that put out this negativity, this negative energy, but yet we still listening to it. It's still being pumped everywhere. It's still being pumped everywhere. So whose fault is that? That sounds like our fault. So what I'm saying is, would we still listen to some of our favorite artists if, they only put out positive music? I know I would. For example, like the Migos. If Migos put out, put out a song rapping 1, 2, 3, even ABCs, I think I would like it. I like the melody they have and the beats they have, so I would listen to it. There's a few artists that I could, off the top of my head, I like that I would listen to if they, put out positive music, not lean, drugs, period, killing, robbing, stealing, messing around with somebody else's girl or guy, just whatever is negative. There's a few artists I would listen to if they switched it up. So when in the timeline did all this music change? In my opinion, yes, it was the 70s, somewhere in there, 60s, 70s. And it has had a huge impact, in the world, period. Not just in society or in this country, just all over, globally. So I got a few questions, for you guys, and I just wonder, how long can this style of rap last? This, these topics, basically, that are in the rap game or hip hop, whatever you want to call it. Even in other genres of music, just the negativity, how long can it last? But mainly I'm focusing on rap or hip hop, because how long are we going to be able to listen to some of these new artists, old artists, all talking about the same things, and they're not positive things, they're negative things, and we don't want our kids portraying these things that we listen to, and neither do they. The artists take our money, well, we give them our money, and the artists do positive things with it for their family and kids. Their kids grow up to be doctors, lawyers, something else positive other than what they're telling you that they're doing in the streets or have done in the streets, or in their life, I should say. So I got a few questions, and that being one of them. Would we still listen to some of our favorite artists if they made positive music? And that timeline, when did that shift come about where it was okay to portray certain things in a negative aspect? Meaning, yes, I know the drugs in the liquor stores that were integrated into, the impoverished communities, the ghettos, whatever you want to call it. You didn't ask for them. No one the people didn't ask for those things to be built there, but they were, and the drugs flooded those areas mainly. So you rapped about it or sang about it. I get it. But could it possibly have been done in a different aspect where you made it uncool to sell drugs? You made it uncool to rob, steal, and kill, other than making it seem like it was cool, hip, and the respect you got from it, was considered positive and cool to someone looking up to this person as a role model because of that's all they had. So, or at least that's what they thought. That's all they had, just because of what was, in their sight of view from their, life. So my question is now, what do we do? How do we fix this? How do we change this? How do we get artists to change up the messages in the music, for more positive messages? My opinion, I got a few. Like, maybe we can put out something, everyone could leave like a comment of some of their favorite artists that they would like to see make more positive music, and just start a trend or something like that. I don't know, but some way to just start some type of revolution in the music industry, because people or certain artists are only following a trend because that's where the money is. They're looking at the numbers, so are these labels, and they're following the trend. Yes, I know the conspiracies out there about what's the agenda, and I'm not saying that these conspiracies are wrong either, but I know I'm well aware of how the game has changed as far as hip hop or rap to be incorporated in the prison industry and other negative industries, to profit off of it. And people are aware of it, but you're still supporting it. You still listen to the music. So what does that mean, or what does that say? So how do we stop that? How do we shift, the message from negative to positive? We created this lane by feeding into this back in those NWA days, just feeding into the negativity all the way, to Tupac and so on. We kept making a lane for it, thinking it was cool, although we didn't want our children to take that path. That's just what was going on. And we made a lane for it. We made an opportunity for people to make it out of a situation through a negative, through a way of putting out negative messages. The artist he was just trying to be relatable. The artist just wanted to be relatable, and we accepted that negative message and made it cool. I think maybe if we would have possibly rejected it, I don't know what would have been the solution. Just possibly rejected it, and maybe they would have came back with a different message. Like I was saying earlier, we know that the drugs in the liquor stores, no one asked for those things to be put there, so people rapped about it. But could it have been rapped or sang in a different aspect with a different message? Maybe if this guy was selling drugs, you didn't glorify him, and make him seem like a god or a king or something. Maybe you said something other than, the respect he got and all that. You talked about how he has to look over his shoulders all the time, how he has to pay the cops off or whatever he has to do and how he can't trust anyone. The brawls and the shootouts, the deaths, or whatever that comes from living that lifestyle. The jail, everybody forget about that. Like, that's real, so just rapping or singing about those things in a different way, where you made it uncool and not cool, not hip, because it's not hip. You made it seem like this was not the thing to do. If artists would have done that, I still think we would have been receptive to it. Now, whatever conspiracies everyone has as to what contributed to that, we still funded those, you know, artists who began to create music and deliver negative messages or messages that did not have a positive impact. So yeah, how can we change that and get the message, switch to a little bit more positivity? How long can rap last at this point in hip hop? How long can rap actually last? But yeah, that I don't know. You guys tell me what you think, because I don't see how long it's gonna last if this is how, if this is how it's gonna be. Shootouts, all the robbing, stealing, killing, and doing somebody else's girl or your best friend's girl, or she doing this and doing that and climbing whatever she got to climb to get to wherever she got to get to. I don't know. It's just getting ridiculous on both sides, male and female. It's getting out of it. That's just my opinion. I understand that you are responsible for yourself and your own children, but it's still being played on the radio. It's being played at schools for homecomings, proms. It's everywhere. It's on TV. You got Popeye's Chicken showing a commercial with Megan Thee Stallion, showing everything she got. I don't know. So it's everywhere. Now, I'm not saying that people should be afraid of sexuality, but we can't deny the influence of pushing something like that early on the younger generation too soon. You can't deny that that's happening. And you can only do so much as a parent or a guardian. You can only do so much. At some point, they're going to bump into it. And I get that. But maybe if we, like I said, shifted things to a positive and funded, more of the positive, entertainment, maybe that'll help. Because like I said, they can put these negative things out. We don't have to get involved in it. If a label wants to push some, negative music, let them push it. We don't have to buy it. It can just sit right there on the shelf or in your iTunes, wherever. You don't have to pay for it. These artists, they put out these songs or whatever, and they have negative messages in them, but they either no longer live that life, but they're not telling you that, or they're portraying that lifestyle in a cool way. They're not portraying it like an uncool thing to do. Then we give them our money, and they take that money and do something positive with it with their family and their kids. So what does that mean? I mean, I don't know. Does that mean that people still should just be able to separate reality from the fake and leave it up to that? Or should we start maybe supporting more positive influence, type of entertainment or music? I think it's the latter. I think we should be, just supporting more of the positive music. Me, myself, I do find myself slipping, and, I love hip hop. I love rap. So I will listen to it. I grew up on it. And when I listen to the messages, it doesn't make me proud. Sometimes I got to turn it off because they go too far, especially the females. I can't ride with my daughter listening to a lot of the female artists. And that's just me though. I'm not judging anyone, but that's just me. Because when I listen to it, how can you not think anything else but what they talking about if you listening? So I can't. Most of the time now, I'll just ride to instrumentals. I like jazz, Miles Davis, Coltrane, those are just a few artists I like to listen to on the jazz side. So I do like jazz, and like other instrumentals from other genres of music. I can listen to a lot of the old school Earth, Wind and Fire, Daz Band. Just a lot of the old school music I could listen to from the 70s, even some of the 60s. I like 60s, I even like the 50s. If you put the right track on, I might not be able to name some of them artists off the top of my head right now, but I do listen to a lot of the older music. I feel like the music in the old days, like back when I say the old days, I wasn't around, but I still listen to it because I heard my parents listen to it. I heard my elders listen to it. And so I remember these songs and how it made me feel. It was a bunch of positivity. Everyone was happy. Even in tough times, you know, this song made you feel good and forget about whatever it is or whatever situation that you guys were in. And to this day, when I listen to these songs, you can't help but get happy. You listen to Earth, Wind and Fire, you get happy. You get a positive feeling. Now, and when they talked about their topics of discussion in the music, it was like real love and chasing love and trying to get her to fall in love with you or get him to fall in love with you. Somebody noticed each other, something like that. And then you had your heartbreak in there, you know, but that wasn't 24/7. It wasn't like every album was about heartbreak. It was about mostly positivity. Then once in a while you got those sad songs in there. Imagine if they just switched it up and just went out and started making all this music about heartbreaking and people sleeping around on each other, because that's what they could have done, you know. Right, they could have just took that one incident or a few negative incidents and just spent it and turned it into a whole bunch of negative music, and then that would have influenced a lot of negative action. Then everybody would have been what they are talking about or what they singing about, because that's what you heard and that's what they put out there. But they put out mostly love, so everybody was mostly together and loving each other. We didn't snap right now, and it just spread. We made it about gangs, and it just spread because we made these things cool. We didn't make them, you know, fearful. Like people was like back in the day, like I'm gonna reference compared to today. When you heard a song about heartbreak, people like to stay away from it. You don't want to feel that pain. We made a song about getting shot or shooting somebody, and everybody want to do it. Like somebody, you got cool points for that. Either surviving the shot or you got cool points for doing the shooting. You didn't. There was nothing uncool there. It was cool either way. The guy who got shot and survived was considered cool, and he got shot. And then the guy that did the shooting was considered cool. He got respect. Neither are good. Nobody wants to be in either one of those situations, and nobody wants their child or anyone they care about to be in those situations. But we make money off of these situations. Well, they make money off of those situations, putting that message out there. Do you guys think this music could have possibly influenced people losing their virginity or some sort of innocence at an early age? Yes, I get it was happening before time. I get all that. You got kids dying at a very young age because, I don't know. Do you guys think music has something to do with this? Could it possibly influence some of these things? Maybe, you know, with the kids getting involved with gangs and certain activity, negative activity at a young age. I don't know. I'm just wondering, what do you guys think? Do you guys think music possibly could have contributed to this? I mean, maybe it did contribute to it. I don't know. You guys tell me. The young kids becoming fathers and mothers at a young age. Now, I think that right now we are doing a better job of monitoring these kids today, but it's still happening. But we are doing a better job of monitoring them for sure. But yeah, so if the drugs never made it into the hood or into these areas, these impoverished areas, in the liquor stores, would rap have ever changed? You know, the gangs that were in the neighborhoods that were formed, because at first gangs were meant to be positive, to my understanding. They weren't even called gangs. They were just groups of people, or an organization of people, I should say. And now they're called gangs because of the negativity that's attached to it. And if these things never made it into these areas, what do you guys think these artists would have, made music about? Did they have a choice? Is it the artist's fault that they're making this sort of music, putting these messages out there? Because what they're talking about, I'm not denying that it's not real. We can't deny that. So can you blame the artist for putting the music out? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. So in my opinion, I feel like they could have definitely talked about these things that were going on, but like I said earlier, maybe in a positive way, in a way where those things were not cool. You talked about it where, in a sense, where you're a fool if you do these things. You're a fool if you behave this way. You're a fool if you do these type of things. Don't be a fool. That's just my opinion. You guys let me know what you think. So I got some more questions. Oh, are light-skinned guys back? I'm just wondering, because I remember that everyone, y'all know what I'm talking about. This is off topic. But are the light-skinned brothers back? Nah, I ain't too light. Don't play. But you know what I'm saying. Okay, that was off topic. But I do think we back, dog. No, okay, let me stop. Speaking of light skin, Drake. Now, Drake is one of those artists that he can make music about whatever, and it's going to be what it is, because that's Drake. And he is consistent with his, music, with his craft. Yeah, he'll make a diss song, but you mess with him, and you see what he can do to you. So Drake is one of those artists that I find real unique, and he's consistent. Like I said, once in a while he'll drop something, where you like, okay, but it's not really what he on. That's not really what he's about. He's about, the lover boy music. That's his image. That's why he got the little heart part in his head, because that's his image, the lover boy. And that's cool, because there's nothing wrong with, if your, kid wants to grow up in that type of way where, it's still positive. It's not like he's hurting anybody. So that's why Drake is still around. He's going to be around for however long he wants to be around, because of the lane he chose to take. He chose to take the more versatile, positive lane, in my opinion. That's what it sounds like to me. Once in a while, Yeah, he got those songs out there that, are a little rough, but for the most part, he's pretty consistent with his career. Even Snoop switched it up. Snoop used to rap about a lot of negative things. Now, once in a while, yeah, but for the most part, he's a fun person. He trying to be positive. He putting wigs on, doing shows like a rock star, just having fun. And that just goes to show you right there. Once you get out of a situation, you don't even want to be something that is, considered not good for society. You want to be something that's considered good and positive and that contributes to society or the world for the matter. That's what I feel like most people want. And I hear a lot of talk about, people old rapping. I don't think that is relevant. You can be 60 years old, and if you can rap, you can rap, especially if you don't look 60. But if you out there hobbling and wobbling, that's totally different. But if you 60 and you look like you 30 or 40, rap. It don't matter. That's just my opinion. So health is wealth. Remember that. Remember that. I got some more questions. So when we go to concerts or clubs and, we're dancing to this music and we're like, we're technically it's a celebration. It's, you're celebrating and you are basically celebrating. If you listen to the lyrics, you're celebrating some things that are not considered to be, positive or recommended. So you're dancing and you moving, and they talking about shooting and killing somebody or sneaking around with somebody. You're celebrating it. And at some point you get to a point where you like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to be out here supporting this. At least that's how I feel. I used to love to dance. I don't really dance anymore unless it's just to a beat because I don't like to listen to some of the lyrics. Sometimes it'll just throw me off. If I hear it, it just throws me off and I can't rock with it. I guess I pay attention too much. I don't know. But I know it's just music. But I still don't. People are around you and you ain't listening to this by yourself, especially if you had a family reunion or something like that and you throw on a little bit of Megan Thee Stallion. Not trying to say nothing negative because the girl can rap and the music is cold. The music is good. It's hot. Do I like the messages? No. I mean, I get the messages, but do I like them? No. So when you listen to these songs or let's say, someone talking about lean or Percocets or whatever the case may be, and you got your family around and it's kind of weird because you hear y'all all celebrating, you all celebrating something that you probably ain't even, you don't rock with. You don't really rock with it. So, but you're celebrating it. So I don't know. Y'all tell me. Is it wrong? How do we change it? Would you still go to these clubs or bars or concerts if the music was positive and, it was a different message in there and they shamed or, like I said, talked about certain things in a foolish way, like this was foolish? Would you still go there and have fun and, celebrate? I would. I'm just wondering if you guys would. And if so, leave some comments, like I said, of some of the artists that you would listen to no matter which way they went. If they did choose to go the positive route, would you still, you would still listen to these artists? What are some of those artists? Who are some of those artists, I should say? Yeah. Who are some of those artists that you would still listen to if they switched up their messages to more positive messages? Did the music influence the breakup of families? I'm just asking a question because I'm just looking at the trend and I'm looking at the numbers. There's an increase, and we all know this, and we're all aware of single parenthood. People go back and they look at the civil rights and they say when these things happen, this contributed to that, and when the drugs and everything came in, this contributed to that. Yes, all those things can be true, but what about the music? Does the music contribute to the breakup of families and cause more single parent homes? I don't know. I'm just asking. You guys let me know what you think. I have an opinion. I think in some way it does influence. I mean, the word influence means just what it means. It means influence someone to do something. It doesn't mean that you made them do it. It doesn't mean that you're the reason solely that they did it. Obviously, you're responsible for your own actions. But the word influence simply means you had some influence on that. And in my opinion, yes, the music does have some influence on it, because it can put you in certain situations that you probably wouldn't be in if you weren't aware of these things, or it was made cool to be in this situation, or whatever negative situation that the music influences and makes it seem like this is a cool thing to do. Like being a playboy, maybe it wouldn't have been seen as a cool thing if it wasn't seen as a cool thing to do. A lot of dads would still be, or a lot of guys would still be with a certain partner, if it wasn't portrayed as a cool thing to do to sleep around, right? I don't know. You guys tell me. Or a female, for the matter, if it wasn't a cool thing to do to judge a man by his pocketbook. Just certain things that came about that basically was made bigger than love. That's just my opinion, because at one point love was enough. And I'm not saying that you don't need other things, but I feel like maybe the music has influenced, some things being bigger than love in a relationship. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying it's the cause. I'm saying it had an influence, possibly. You guys tell me what you think. I mean, I'm not saying I'm right, but let me know. Now, in the days that, in those old days, I didn't hear when I listened to the songs of the old days or classics, I didn't hear any songs that I can recall, drug abuse or something like that. It wasn't out there. And basically just songs that had more positive meaning or some type of meaning of change, something that, was meant to touch people. I don't know. You guys see the difference in the music, like I said today, in the music from the old days? They didn't really talk about those type of things and make it cool. They didn't put those messages out there and put a spin on it where it was cool to be like, or do this, or mess around with this. It was hidden that you didn't know this person was on it until you found out, and you like, and then everyone is like, wow, this person is on drugs. Couldn't tell. A lot of artists, you know, it was, even if it was well known that this person was on some type of drug or was on some type of substance, the artist still didn't put it out there to the world, like in the music. So it was actually well known that some of these artists had some sort of substance abuse problem, and it was not ever put out to the world in a positive light at one point in time. If you guys can remember that, if you found out that your artist that you loved was on some sort of, you know, substance, you were shocked, or it was like, you know, and you didn't want the artist to be on that. You wanted him to get help. Now it's totally different. It's cool. And is music creating a divide? Maybe, you know, maybe it is. Maybe the music is creating some sort of divide, rather you want to consider it within the culture. Also, from people who know you listen to rap or hip hop, they automatically will associate you with some sort of negativity because you listen to this genre of music. So if that genre of music produces more positivity, then how can they look at you in that negative light? Because let's just keep it 1,000. That is actually something that is real. If people know you listen to rap, then they are a little judgmental if they don't listen to rap. They know the messages that are in rap. So if you're associated with it, then they associate you with those negative messages. And that's just a fact. So, in my opinion, the music is creating a divide within the culture and outside of the culture. You guys tell me what you think. That doesn't mean I'm right. It's just my opinion. But as far as, you know, it having an influence, I'm big on what I want to stress, that I'm using the word influence because I do think that it does have an influence. You know, have you guys ever made a song or a rap, you know, and maybe it was good, but that's not who you are. You can rap like that, sing like that, but it's not who you are. You might got something fire in the chamber, but it's not who you are. With that being said, imagine having to do that for years. You probably had the hardest time with that one song. Not saying you can't make these songs, but I mean like acting them out. You probably had the hardest time with that. Imagine these artists having to do that for years. You had a hard time with one song and they got to make thousands. They have to make thousands. Yeah. It ain't for everybody. Definitely. Is techno or EDM gonna take over? What do you guys think? Because it's growing. It is growing. It's everywhere. This EDM is getting really popular. It's just a beat. People are getting tired, I'm telling you, of hearing certain things. And I don't know. It seemed like it's taking over. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys listen to EDM? Is that something that maybe I need to get a little more hip to? Because I only hear it when I go out to the clubs. Certain clubs, I should say, certain bars. I don't really play it in my car. When I ride, I don't really play it. So you guys tell me, what do you think about that genre of music? And do you see it just taking over and just being everywhere. Maybe rap won't be around. Like I said, how long can rap last? What do you guys think about EDM music? Let me know in the comments. Also, these artists who are rapping about certain substance abuse, and we are making it, maybe they're rapping about it in a manner or sending the message like it's cool to do these substances, but maybe they need help. Maybe people should, when you hear these artists make these songs about being on Xannies, perks, or whatever substance, maybe it's a cry for help, and we need to get them into some sort of rehabilitation, because who wants to do that? You don't want your kids doing it, but you listening to it. And if this artist is doing it, then maybe this artist needs help. And we need to not support, whatever message that person is putting out or this artist is putting out, and reach out to them as a group and say, hey, man or woman, maybe you should consider something like rehabilitation and come back talking about something else. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Are we influencing these artists to make this music? Obviously we are, because we're given the money, in my opinion. So are we influencing these artists to make this music? My opinion is we are. What can we do? My next question: do you guys think that female artists really want to show their body all the time? I don't know. Y'all let me know what you guys let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think that a female artist wants to, every time she hits the stage or makes a music video, have to show most of her body? I don't know. Maybe some artists, they love that. Maybe that's who they are. Maybe some artists are only doing it because that's what the label wants. You guys let me know. Maybe you guys know some of these artists. Do you guys think that they want to do this, or is this something that is suggested and pushed? Let me know. In my opinion, I think it's a little bit of both. I think there's some artists out there who have that raw sexuality and they don't mind putting it out there. But that doesn't mean that we have to encourage it. And then you got certain artists who are, they had that pushed and groomed, on them. And yeah, there you have it. So yeah, maybe we got to start swiping left on the negative music. Just don't entertain it. Don't support it. I don't know. People got to feed their families. People are just trying to feed their families, and I get it. But I'm saying we made a lane for this. Maybe we can switch the lane for the artists to have a different lane to go in and still provide and do what they, need to do to get out of whatever situation they're in. And if we supported that, maybe they will do that. Maybe they'll shift and go a different way. They tend to do that anyway. Once they get to a certain status in life, the artist tends to typically switch it up anyway and take more of the positive route. And if they don't, then other things start to happen to this artist, That's just what I see. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Or I'm just wondering, what solutions can we implement to, help the situation in the music industry for our people who are just trying to make a living and have a career to support their families and their loved ones, but they're having to subject this certain type of music to an audience because that's what the audience demands or supports. Maybe if we switched it up, maybe they would switch it up too. Like I said, that's my opinion. You guys let me know what you think. Who are some of the artists that you would love to hear switch it up? Like, who would you still listen to if they switched it up and they went positive? Like I said, Migos was one of them for me. I like Future. I know a lot of people probably tired of Future, but I'm not. I like Future. If he switched it up and he wasn't talking about lean or Molly's Perks or whatever he talks about, I would listen to him. Now I find myself not listening to him because I never get down with those messages anyway. Certain songs that he has that's not out there, but for the most part, I gotta listen to an instrumental. I don't know what that means, guys. Maybe I'm just getting older. Like I said, most of the time these artists, they're just following a trend anyway. They look at the numbers and they go that route. So if we put the numbers somewhere else, they gotta follow. Even if the label wants to still push that negative, we don't have to support it. We don't have to. We don't have to attend the concerts. You don't have to die at concerts. You can just go to the positive ones and celebrate in a positive manner. Everyone has positive energy. When you leave tonight, you're safe because you're not rapping about killing, stealing, robbing, or messing around behind somebody's back. You know, nothing rowdy. You're just out there celebrating, having a good time, listening to a good song. A good song that is putting out positive vibes and, you know, just positive energy. So yeah, those are my questions. Let me know what you guys think. How can we contribute in a positive way to shift the lane and make, you know, a lane for positive artists? And that's all I got for you guys. Stay safe, stay warm, and I will be back with some more things to talk about.